Start off, why don't you ask me the famous networking question is, what's your 30-second commercial?
30-second commercial. Well, my name is Norman Naylor, and I am a certified project manager, but I say that with qualifications, and that is I help business leaders to affect change in their organization at whatever level. I have run IT projects, but I'm not an IT guy. I run procurement projects, but I'm not a procurement guy. I've run facilities projects, but I'm not a facilities guy. Probably my greatest claim to fame is helping a team of executives build a best-in-class risk management system for one of our largest subprime lenders. What I'm looking for in a position is something that I can help business leaders to identify changes that they'd like to make, establish metrics that they would like to measure their performance by, identify the resources that are required to implement that change, and then open an honest communication channel so that we can connect the resources with the vision and then get things going.
Okay, so the next question I want to ask you is 2009 has been a pretty interesting year, and I know a lot of people, including myself, have made a lot of changes with the circumstances. How has everything kind of affected you, and what have you done to kind of change yourself or get a head start?
Well, that's the question of the hour, isn't it?
That's very true.
Because 2009 is a different job market. I've been in transition 3 times in the last 10 years, and time is unique. Before you would just look for job boards and submit resumes, and for every 2 or 3 positions you submitted for, you get a phone call or an interview.
Have you ever been with the other transition your own choice, or have you ever been in a situation where you actually were laid off due to the situation?
The previous ones were, I guess, by choice because I moved. I moved from California to Texas, and I moved from Texas back to California, both times involved.
Yeah, I know that very well. I think that's really your own choice. I mean, that's why. So in that sense, it's kind of like similar to myself. It's the first time that someone told you, by the way, this is the situation, you have to look for a job, where before you kind of decided to do it on your own. Yeah,
this is the first time that I have left an organization without the feeling that they really wanted me back, and not that they didn't, they just couldn't afford to anymore. But anyway, back to your initial question, changes that had to be made. Probably the biggest change that I've had to make this go around is previously I looked for jobs. My job was to find the position. In this job market, that doesn't work. I have to be the one that is found. So it turns the tables completely. Of course, I use job boards still, and I still submit resumes, but the main focus is on working with people, networking with people, building relationships, so that when an opportunity does come along, I have a wide net to catch it. So, Sven, you may hear about an opportunity that you can refer to me that will be the opportunity. So my job right now is building bridges, building relationships, building teams, and that's what I've focused on doing.
Yeah, one thing that I think I found out recently is it used to be the old term it's about who you know, which I think is kind of still true, but I think more importantly is who knows you, which I think is a big changer in the market.
Yeah, we went from who you know to what you know, but now the job market is so specific about what you know. You must have 3.5 years of SAP experience, you must be left-handed, you must have Hungarian ancestry, that it's now kind of actually gone back the other way. And as you said, it's not who you know, but who knows you.
Yeah,
and what do they know about?
Okay, so next question would be, and this is hopefully going to be helpful for people watching this video, is looking for kind of tips or resources that you might be able to share, that you might have gathered through your whole process of looking for a new job.
Well, there are a lot of different resources that are available now that haven't been available in the past. Obviously, LinkedIn is the big one. If you're not on LinkedIn, you really, really, really are not playing in the game. Other than that, there's, of course, Twitter, which I'm dabbling in, but not very good at yet. As far as locally, there are a number of resources that you can jump into that are very helpful. The Saddleback Ministry on Monday nights, I would highly recommend. Not only do they give excellent services, but they allow you to meet a huge network of people. You're familiar with Experience Unlimited, the Job Club. They have excellent workshops on outsourcing and how placement services, how to market yourself.
Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about, which I always kind of tell people they have to be really good at, is to come up with a story with something that's been memorable about yourself, just something for people to remember you. So what do you normally use, or do you have like one favorite?
Well, what I normally tell people that makes me memorable is that I'm a terrible liar. And that is, I can't lie to save my life. I have tried, it just doesn't work. So I've told people that I'm a terrible liar, and that usually makes me memorable. If that doesn't work, as I said, I have 5 little ones underfoot. So I have an 18-year-old and a 16-year-old and a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. And if that's not quite enough pain, we took in a foster child just before Christmas. So that usually will,
That's a handful. That's definitely a handful. Okay, one thing that I think is becoming more and more important is your personal brand. Have you defined one? Do you know what your brand is at the moment?
Actually, I've defined several, because as you know, one brand speaks to one marketplace. And we're dabbling in a number of marketplaces. Well, the most obvious one is I have the hat now. That is part of my brand, in that it just makes me easy to find, and it makes me easy to remember. People may not remember my name, but they'll always remember the guy in the hat. So from that standpoint, that's part of my brand. Personal branding that I've assumed is honesty and integrity in my relationships. As I said, I'm a terrible liar, so I might as well capitalize on that. Something else that I brought to my brand from a social aspect is being a facilitator of relationships, connecting people that I think should know one another, arranging things and building teams. For example, one thing that I do is build teams of people with complementary skills in the hopes that we can all move together a lot more quickly than we could separately. So these are various things that I've put together that define me, not only as a person, but as a potential employee.
Okay, I know time is going fast, but here's the last question of the day. One is, how might other people be able to help you? And the other thing, so if you know to connect with you, what's your best way of connecting with you?
Thank you for asking. Probably the best way people could help me is to keep an ear out for opportunities. I work best with business leaders. There are not many out there. So if anyone hears of an opportunity with a business leader who is frustrated because he wants to grow his business and can't do so and needs someone to help him mind the shop, or someone who needs a change agent in their organization, I'm available for both of those roles, and I think I could bring a lot of value. As far as contacting me, probably the best way to do that would be either through LinkedIn or through my email address, which is norman.naylor@gmail.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much for taking your time today, and I hope everyone will enjoy this video. Thank you.
Thanks.